Thrunite sent me this TH30 V2 rechargeable LED headlamp to review. Now it's fitted with a second generation Cree XHP70 LED and it's capable of 3320 lumens, so it's very bright. Now it's got a maximum beam distance of 170 meters, 7 operating modes including turbo, SOS, and for me the most important, Firefly, and it's in Firefly mode now. Firefly mode will run for 29 days, I think it is, on a single charge of the battery. So if you're stuck in an area where there's no power, or you're in a power cut area like I am, and the last time we had a power cut it was for 7 days, having a light that will last for that length of time is very, very useful. Now it's got a 3100 milliamp hour battery, it's an 18650 battery. It's IPX rated, so it's waterproof to 2 meters, and it's also got an impact rating of 1.5 meters, so you can drop it from 1.5 meters onto a hard surface and the torch will not be harmed. So this is the low setting on the headlamp. It is bright enough to see what's going on, but I wouldn't be happy walking around with this set on low. So this is medium low, and yeah, I think it's okay. Again, I really don't think I would be using this if I was out and about, say walking the dog. I would want it slightly brighter than this. This is a medium setting, and I think this is fine for walking around with. I don't think there's any issues with this. Maybe want it slightly brighter depending on where you are, but you can see what's going on. There's plenty of light fanning out on either side, so there's a good spread there. So this is on high, and this is good. 120 meters in that direction is my barn, and I can actually just, and I mean just, make that out in the distance at 120 meters away. So now I'm going to put it on turbo, which is 2 quick presses of the button. That's on turbo mode, and I can actually see the barn down there better than I could when it was on high mode. And if it wasn't for the fact that I've got steam rising above me because it's so cold, I'd be able to see it a lot clearer. But I can definitely see that barn 120 meters away. Now I probably think that you guys won't be able to see it because the camera's not anywhere near as good as my eyesight in the dark, but I can see that 120 meters away, no problem. And this is really bright. I'm very impressed with this. Now I'm going to do the SOS mode, which is 3 quick presses. So that's SOS, and it just goes around in a loop, 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots. So I'll take that off. Now I'm going to put it in Firefly mode, and I reckon I'm about 50 meters away from the torch, and I'm going to see if you can see the Firefly mode from 50 meters away. To put it into Firefly mode, I've got to hold the button down until it comes on in Firefly mode, and I'm in Firefly mode now. Now I can actually see the ground when I look down here, but it wouldn't be very good for walking around. Now if it was pitch black, it would suffice, let's put it that way. You would be able to see what you were doing, but you wouldn't be very happy using it. Low, medium, high, turbo. Firefly, turbo and SOS are all separate on the user interface on the torch, but low, medium and high are just operated by pressing the power button and keeping your finger on it, stopping it when you get to the setting that you want. Now this is Firefly mode, and this will operate on a full battery for 29 days. So if you're in a power cut and you know that you're going to be out for any length of time, you've got 29 days worth of using this torch. If you've got 12-hour days and 12-hour nights, that's 58 days of operating this torch in this mode. Now it isn't very bright, and as I'm looking around I would be able to see where I'm going, but it's not ideal. Now that is a low setting. It will run on the low setting constantly for 55 hours. Now again, this is ideal for moving around the house, checking things. It isn't bright, but it's definitely bright enough to do most of the things that you would want to do inside your house if there was a power cut. And if you actually transfer that to the outdoors, if you're in the middle of nowhere with no light at all, this thing, 55 hours, or even the Firefly mode, I think it would be difficult outside, but you could still use it, would keep you going. It would allow you to see what you were doing and possibly allow you to get out of danger. And obviously 55 hours worth of light in this mode is brilliant as well. This is a packaging, and as you can see, it's a very small box. So the torch comes in two versions, the cool white and the neutral white. And as you can see, this is the cool white, which is a brighter, sort of crisper light than the neutral white. Inside the box, along with the torch and headband, we've got a clip there which will allow you to clip it onto a belt or your clothing, maybe a pocket, and carry the torch around like that. A set of instructions, USB to USB-C charging cable, 2 spare O-rings for the casing to keep that waterproof, and 2 spare seals for the charging point on the torch. To charge the torch, the rubber seal pulls back there, and remember there are 2 spare seals for this. The cable just plugs in there. It's USB-C, so it just goes straight in there. As you can see, when it goes on charge, you'll get a red LED inside the button. So I'll leave that to charge up, and when the battery is fully charged, the LED turns blue. If you put the torch on charging, you can see that there's a purple LED flashing. That means that there is a problem with the connection. On the instructions, it tells you to make sure that the cap at the back is fully tightened. If I tighten it up, you will see that the LED goes from purple to red, and when it arrives, that cap at the back is not fully screwed in, so make sure you do that when you take the torch out of the box. The torch utilises an 18650 battery, and the one that's supplied is 3100 milliamp hours, so there's plenty of power there for the torch. This is a close-up of the headband and the mount, and as you can see, it's a rubber mount. The torch just slides in there, and it is quite difficult to get it in and out. It's not too difficult. It's a bit of a faff to actually get that on the headband, which is a good thing in a way, because it means that you're not going to be losing the torch. There are actually little indents on the torch that these bands fit into, like so. So the clip fits onto the indent that the band fits into, and that is a very solid fit. So it's very tight. You can swivel it round. So the clip will allow you to mount the torch in various ways. Now, just as an example, I'm going to put it on my top here, and that allows you to use it as you're walking around without the headband on, which I think is pretty good. So if you don't want to be walking around and looking a bit daft wearing the headband, you can actually use the clip without having the headband, which I think is a very good idea. You can also just stand the torch up on its base. So the LED in the on-off button also serves as a battery level indicator. And from 100 to 21%, then the LED is blue. Between 20% and 11%, it goes red. And then between 10% and 1%, it will start flashing red. So you can tell when your battery is getting low. The user interface is pretty simple, but there is a bit of a learning curve. Now, to turn the torch on, you just press the power button, and that will go to whatever the torch was left at in normal mode. What I mean by normal mode is if I keep my finger on the power button, you'll see the torch cycles through the 4 modes: low, medium and high. You just stop this wherever you want it. So that's low at the moment. So just let go, it's in low mode. So if you want to use turbo mode or SOS, whether the torch is on or off, it makes no difference. Turbo mode is just 2 quick presses of the button. That's turbo mode. And then if I turn it off, it's just press the button. If I turn it back on again, it goes back into low mode, which was selected when it toggled through those 4 modes. If I want to use SOS, it's 3 quick presses of the button. And you can see we're in SOS mode. To stop it, just press the button again. Now if I press the button again, just 1 press, it goes back into low mode. So whenever you turn this torch on, it will always go back into low mode until you change it to medium, high, whichever one you want. And to place the torch into Firefly mode, just hold down the power button for a couple of seconds. It comes on Firefly mode. There's no blue LED on the power switch, and that is in Firefly mode. And again, to turn it off, you just press the button, Firefly mode goes off, press the button again, it goes back onto whatever mode you stored it at when you were cycling through the 4 modes. So it's quite simple. It does take a bit of getting used to, but once it's in there, it stays in there. So hopefully I've covered everything that you want me to cover about this torch. One thing that I didn't mention is that it comes with a 2-year guarantee, which is very handy. Now, I am impressed with this torch. It is very nice to use depending on where you've got the brightness. And if it's on bright or turbo, it is very bright. And it could be a problem if you are actually walking around near a road because you'd be dazzling other people driving their cars. 170 meters I think is a bit optimistic when it comes to the distance that they say it will throw light, but it does throw light a long distance, and for me it's perfectly adequate, in fact much better than adequate for what you would want to use it for. So I am impressed with the torch. Using the torch with the headband is really easy, and also using it with the clip is really easy, but the thing that I love about this torch the most is the fact that you can use it for very long periods of time, exceptionally long periods of time, in total darkness if you need to. Now, to me that is a fantastic feature. To be able to use a torch for 55 hours in a reasonably bright mode, if you're in the middle of nowhere or there's a power cut, is brilliant, and the Firefly 29 days is phenomenal. And I think that that could prove useful for many people in many different situations, especially in emergencies when there's no power and it's pitch black. You can actually get yourself out of trouble. So I'm very impressed with this torch. I'm very glad that Thrunite asked me to review it. I hope you found this review useful, and thank you very much for watching. Please take care.